The United Nations projects that by the year 2100, the world's population will be 11.2 billion, of which 3.2 billion will be at least 60 years old. Along with the rise in average life expectancy worldwide, people are also making the decision to delay retirement and are often continuing their careers well into their later years, meaning that by 2030, 18% of the global workforce is estimated to be over 55. Rising human longevity may serve as a testament to the marvels of modern science, but this trend presents a problematic future for the modern workforce. This looming crisis is known simply as the Invisible Epidemic.
We've got a big problem in South Africa.
As the world has become a lot more modernized and eating habits have changed, there's a lot that needs to be done just to ensure that, like I said, people are staying healthy. I think it's become quite important for businesses to have healthy employees and for business to actually take a very keen and active interest in the wellness of the employees. On the one hand, I mean, for me, the business case is very clear. The healthier employees you have, the more productive they are, the more engaged they're going to be, the more motivated they're going to be, and de facto it will lead to better business performance. So from that perspective, for me, I think the business case is absolutely clear. One of the biggest challenges, you'll find that companies will do wellness days, but because they do it as in opportunity, so at a moment, rather than as part of a continuous process, it doesn't have the same level of impact as if you're doing it as part and parcel of what you do.
The impact of this invisible crisis is being felt across the world. In the UK, diabetes alone costs the NHS £14 billion a year to treat. That is the equivalent of £1 million every hour. But with so much else to consider, are businesses aware enough of the issue and how it affects their workforce?
So there is a huge amount of research now that's been undertaken by experts actually globally into this particular subject. We know the sugar tax was launched earlier this year. That will definitely have an impact. And we know that governments, and our government in the UK particularly, has talked a lot about the interventions they're wanting to make in this area. I think it's really tricky. So this is about behaviour change. It's exactly that point. You have to start intervention and make intervention much earlier before people even become diabetic. And I think employers increasingly have quite a responsibility to support their workforce. And I think, for us, we are always asking the question about, what more can be done? What more can employers do?
There's also, I think, a movement now through the use of wearable technology like smartwatches. It's a bit of a gimmick. We all like to see how many steps we're doing and what our heart rate is. But I think increasingly you will see that technology linked to insurance premiums.
Yes,
I think you'll find, maybe more progressive employers give all of their employees smartwatches and gym membership because they'll see the money they're spending on private medical insurance, quartering and maybe halving over time.
Forward-thinking organisations are working to get ahead of the problem, adopting new and innovative ways to combat the issue before it becomes truly irreversible.
Maybe 30, 50 years ago, the world was focused really on acute diseases. But when you look at the chronic disease, this challenge is actually going to come upon us in Asia quite dramatically over the next 10, 20 years. Typically, a person would have multiple chronic diseases. The consequences of these chronic diseases are far-reaching, they last a long time, and they're very expensive and labour-intensive. Diabetes stems from the same causes as these other chronic diseases, which is bad lifestyle, bad diet, insufficient exercise. So if you tackle diabetes, you tackle these other chronic diseases. So forward-thinking employers like that, they don't throw money at the problem. They actually go and actively do the right thing. We have to make that shift to a very different way of doing things. The first shift really is a much greater focus on prevention, early detection, healthy lifestyle. It requires the kind of very on-ground leadership, role modeling by respected members of the management team who they themselves are undertake a healthy lifestyle, to mobilize the entire workforce.
For more on the demographic crisis and other articles, visit odgersburnson.com/observe.